Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We are here at DWWW Station, your ultimate music radio. We are now with Sir Raymond Langit and Ma'am Jackie Rubio, and mag-i-interview kami about sa ethical standards in the field of media. So we have prepared some guide questions. For the first question, Ma'am and Sir,
Yes.
what are your media entity, position, and how many years in the industry? What are your specific exact duties and responsibilities in the company?
Okay, hello and hi there. Good afternoon to you students from Far Eastern University, Communication Arts students.
Yes, sir.
Ayan. And welcome to DWWW Station.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Actually, I'm kind of new to the station because I was only accommodated almost 2 years na. In my broadcasting career, I used to be a DJ in an FM station for let's say about almost 30 years. Long time ago. Tagal din, ano? Long time ago. 30 years. That's my the length of my stay as in an FM station before I was acquired by DWW for that matter. No. Anyway, in that span of years, I used to be the program director of the station before. I'm talking about the previous station I used to be. Diba? Tapos, I used to be also be a station manager of that station. And now, I'm happily in, syempre, with DWW, my ultimate station now. That we're growing. Like before, FM station days, younger generation. Now, syempre, we evolve, we get older, and even the knowledge in communication, even the programming matters. That includes the music that we get to play or anything that is concerned with broadcast matters, let's say news, other informations that we would like to impart to the public. Eh, syempre, nag-evolve na rin yan. Medyo, pati itsura namin nag-evolve na since the younger days. Okay?
Diba, sir, may saying na your maturity is what makes you gold, not old.
I like that. That
Diba?
word.
So,
Golden
golden anchor in the industry.
Yeah. Tapos tagal na rin sa
Diba,
broadcast.
sir?
Oh. Pero during the time of the year, I already mentioned that I attained a lot of positions also. And even other FM radio stations before. Ang pangalan ko noon, Raymond Stone. I don't know if you guys knows Raymond Stone. Now, siyempre nandito ka na sa entity na iba yung crowd, iba yung market. Tapos meron ding set of rules na kailangan mong gagampanan. Eh syempre, pangalan natin, wag mo lang gamitin Raymond Stone, that's your handle lang sa FM. Lagyan mo na yung tunay mong apelyido. Raymond Stone Langit. Oh, kinuha pa rin yung Stone. Ano? Ganun. Yun na yung kinuha ko sa air. That's my air. RSL. Raymond Stone Langit.
Nice.
How about naman you po, Ma'am Jackie?
I'm the current news director of DWWW Station, and one of the program hosts ng isang legal program, Talk to My Lawyer. So, bata pa lang ako, napapahinga ko na sa Anything to add?
Yeah, by the way, I'm the anchor also.
Yes.
Music anchor
Yes,
of
of
WWW.
course.
That's one thing I forgot earlier. Anyway,
ayun. So, this is actually my first job. And since ito nga yung first, hoping na this will be my last. Diba?
galing naman doon.
Job.
No?
Wow. You're so dedicated po talaga sa work na to.
Yeah. So, tsaka siguro, on top of that is that yung appreciation, sir, and yung satisfaction. Diba?
Oh, yeah.
Kasi if you're not satisfied naman with your output here, so hindi naman siguro ako magtatagal.
Yes.
So, yes. So, it's also part of the considerations in staying with DWWW. And on top of that, sir, yung lolo ko and my mom used to be listener dito. I remember, ako ba yung tumatawag over the phone requesting dun sa No Other Love na song na gusto nila.
Talaga?
Yes, sir. So, yung ilan pa dito na natitira.
Hindi ko alam yan, actually. Hindi kami nagkakwento sa
Correct,
mga
oo. Ayun. So, familiar na. Si Miss Nina, Ago, siya yung laging sumasagot nung hotline for the request. Lagi ako noon, every time tumatawag na pwede mag-request, babatiin yung parents, ganyan. So, it's actually, sir, parang a privilege on my part. Kasi naging part ka na ng WW.
Okay, I see.
Dati, used to be a listener ka lang. Yes.
Galing.
For the second question po is, does DWW have has its own code of ethics? Like, or do you just follow po the general code of ethics in the film?
In of course every entity got their own code of ethics,
On top of the general.
on top of the general, because tipong localized na dun sa within your entity, on top of the
Correct,
general
sir.
ethics, yun, that's which we are actually following until now, and we are bound to be on that ethics that the company has given to us, and we have to abide. Yun.
So aside po from the Code of Ethics po ng Philippines, is meron din po kayong sarili.
Correct, oo.
Okay, ma'am.
Siguro one thing na pwede kong ma-share sa inyo guys is yung fact na, for instance, sa RSL, meron siyang program. Ngayon, something happens na emergency cases, mag-absent siya. Diba? When we say ethics, posibleng magbibigay siya ng heads up doon sa maapektuhan na or posibleng sasalo ng kanyang program. So, para continue pa rin yung flow ng programa niya, even if, yun nga, may absent na yung mismo main anchor. For instance siya, halimbawa, ako yung papalit. So, mag-heads up siya sa akin na baka pwede mong saluhin. Diba? It's an ethics, diba? Na sasabihin na saluhin mo muna yung program ko kasi may emergency or meron akong pupuntahan, very, importante. On top of that, magpapaalam pa rin din siya sa management. Okay, if the management say, yes, okay, pwede ka mag-leave, okay. So, yun. Kung hindi, or halimbawa ako hindi ako available, sir, may pupuntahan ako or something. So, maghahanap ng iba. So, parang channeling yung magiging concern para still makapag-deliver ng services or program pa rin without the main anchor.
Absolutely. Kailangan yun kasi it's ko naman yun It's but natural that you have to tell the management, or inform the management in your absence, probably if you're gonna be late,
Yes.
para merong preparations na gagawin for that matter. And in any case, kami naman na anchors, let's say for us, naman, we have our, let's talk about talking about
Programming
the
side.
programming, aside from, before going to the programming side, I'd like to follow the direction of what Ma'am Jack is telling you about. Yung tipong na-late kunyari yung isang host, at may mga bagay na ganun na unavoidable circumstances. Diba? Na-late siya. Siyempre, we have to continue on. You don't have to leave the station,
As
leave
they
your
say,
post.
the program must go on, diba?
Diba? Although may tech naman dyan, pero you still have to deliver the goods.
Yes.
Or what should be delivered on air, which is the needed, the thing that you have to do on air. That's news, information, which is supposed to be said by the next host or by the next anchor.
Yes.
But in any case, he's not around. You will still do the job and fit into what he's going to do on air. Ganun ang gagawin namin. Parang tutuloy mo na lang. Those are ethics that we have to undertake also.
In addition to that, without sacrificing the content or the format of the program, just because nga absentee anchor. So it's actually an ethical standard that yung anchor na dapat papalit, meron siya dapat know it all on na kahit saan siya ipasok, alam niya yung format, alam niya yung content, yung programming, nung mismo uupuhan yung programa. So that hindi naman magugulat or masusurprise yung listener na parang may iba, di ba?
Yes.
So, yun. So, you have to take into consideration the format of every program.
That's true.
Okay.
Ayun.
Diba?
Kasi baka naman yung susunod na program, tawag dito, commentaries na.
Correct.
O kaya, di ba, news type na yung program.
Yes.
Yun. Kasi, kaya you have to be adjustable also.
Yes.
Yes.
O di ba, flexible for that matter.
Yes.
Well, anyway, in line with that, we were able to tackle the personalities involved doon. In line with the programming naman, since it's we are news and music station, meaning to say, we cater on the news side and information and music. But on the other hand, I like to give emphasis on is that we are more on a certain pie of our programming. We are more on music.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. That's probably the blood of the station, the lifeline. Aside from the usual giving out reports on what's the current issues, what's the current happenings, di ba? Mga tipong ganon. That's part. But on the totality of programming on a day, it's basically music.
Yes.
However, there are certain things also, guidelines that I'd like to take into consideration. Yung tipong, yung programming yung caters for what? Di ba? Does it cater for a certain ages? Of course, we talk about demographics. We talk about the age. We talk about the sex. We talk about
Social classes.
Correct. Kasi titignan natin yun. Kung yung programming namin sa music will be railroaded to a certain degree of senior people listening to you. Pero titingnan mo rin yung situation na these are the ethics na coming in. Titingnan mo rin na ay baka ito ba yung mga social na mga nakikinig? Okay, ito ba yung mga tipong nandito lang sa middle class? O kaya masa? Doon mo ni-railroad yung music mo. Kasi pag kinuha mo lahat na kunwari, we get to play the old music. That's what we are anyway. What we get to play the golden hits. Maraming golden hits pero may mga hits na mataas pala sa standard nila.
Yes.
Yung ganon. Kaya yung ethics papasok doon. Doon mo nire-railroad na sa tamang-tama the culture of the listeners that we are targeting. Yun. Kaya tulad ng mga seniors. Usually naman, yun ang namin
Exactly.
Yun ang nakuha naming market, which we value a lot. Kasi ang nakakatuwa naman, mahirap kumuha ng mga listenership at mag-evolve lang sa pakikinig sa'yo. Kaya natutuwa kami may ganung market ang DWWW Station 4. In line with that, we have also a program chart per hour. Meron kami sinusunod sa program chart namin na let's say the music that includes yung sequence ng mga songs that we play. Yun ang gusto rin ng mga nakikinig, yung sequencing mo ng mga songs Yung salansan mo ng mga, yung segue mo, that makes you different among the rest din Kaya siguro
kasi diba, yes sir, in addition to what Sir RSL is mentioning, yung discipline kasi sa radio, magre-reflect siya with the quality na binibigay. So, hindi porket kasi, as mentioned nga, diba, 25 radio stations meron. So, what sets you apart is, very challenging sa end namin. Kasi, yun yung magiging personality ng radio station.
Correct.
So, kapag na-establish mo na yun, then everything else will follow. At kung you're taking into consideration yung listener audience mo, nakikita mo anong needs nila.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes.
So, that's the ultimate, talaga,
goal,
yes.
objective natin.
Correct.
In line with the music, of course, that we get to play, it's very simple sa amin on our part. We coin it on a different way. Siguro, sabi namin, it's singable, yung mga ganun cantable na mga na-play, na golden hits, na alam mong pag binuksan mo yung video okay mo o kaya karaoke mo, andun siya.
Yes.
Tipong ganon, di ba? Pero it's not the new ones, of course, kasi they also include the new ones Yung mga songs na talaga naman, pati bata ngayon, pag kinan mo yung kanta yun, ay alam na alam. Di ba? na kinakanta rin ng mga tatay, nanay, lolo, lola, sinasayaw, gano'n, nakakatuwa. Those are the things that we play on air. Tapos, in line with that, also, I'd like to underscore also yung tipong, it's not only the music, we need to speak din also, talk. But, there's certain limitations for us. Let's say, for an hour, it doesn't necessarily follow that whenever you get to play one or two music, you get to speak or you get to talk. Hindi ganon. Merong guideline kami doon. Meron kaming ethics din doon sa kung ano yun. We get to speak siguro on top of the hour, just saying hi and hello, and then after which, by the end of the first 30 minutes of the show, we can also speak again, but not as lengthy. Siguro we get to speak 3 to 5 minutes lang. And let the music speak for us na lang. Ganun ang ginagawa namin.
Yes, sir.
Anyway,
Okay.
the music pa naman yung natin.
Correct.
Yun. Those are the simple ethics that we get to impart also to you. Na tipong na dapat din malaman ng public yung ginagawa namin.
Yes, ma'am. So, thank you po for sharing your ethics po para po ma-establish po yung pangalan ng radio niyo. Gusto mo na. Kasi masyado po mahaba yun sa record po eh. Baka po, for our next question,
This one po is like you happen to have an ambiguous or an accident po. What do you do in order to avoid violating the ethics po? Like particularly po how do you perform your duties and performance aligned to the ethics po?
how do you do in order to avoid how do you do in order to avoid violating your code of ethics? So, ano po bang ginagawa niyo para ma-avoid po yung mga ethics po in performing your duties and responsibilities po dito sa radyo?
Well, of course, we are bound with the station's ethics. We talk about yung patakaran, and everything that engulfs that. Siyempre, susunod ka. Actually, you have to abide to the rules and regulations of the station religiously. Siyempre, there are certain situations naman siguro na gusto mong gawin pa, pero if it goes out of hand na sa bylaws ng station, that's a big no-no. Hindi mo dapat.
May sa akin, sir, yung concrete example, for instance. Kasi some of our DJs can also be, parang hosts sa ibang mga program, di ba? So, yung mga hosting gigs, sir, di ba? For instance, may invitation with Mr. RSL na siya yung mag-host ng isang concert or isang, di ba, wedding, for instance. It so happen na matatamaan yung kanyang program. So, ang question ay, ano unahin? So, sige sir, you can elaborate.
And then you can talk it over naman to the management, if ever. Pero if
the management
says that you have to go with the job, you have to choose what you're doing. At least you were able to explain everything also. Kailangan lang naman yun sa communication matters section.
After all, we are in the communication industry. Diba?
Yes.
Yun. Kaya, if ever naman that is so important, which is so unavoidable, on a different scenario, hindi katulad ng ginagawa namin na tipong it's not on the same level na sa broadcast, tapos mayroong hosting. Siyempre, namin trabaho mo dito. Pero, there are certain situations na mangyayari siguro na unavoidable. Let's say you may...
But if, for instance, sir, the event, halimbawa, family mo, let's say yung daughter mo, ikakasal.
Ayun.
Ikaw yung host. Of course, the management is, understandable. Napayagan ka na. Of course, you can, go with the event. Diba?
Ganun yun. That depends upon how you talk it over to the management.
Yes.
So, it's very important that you, you take into consideration yung yung mafe-feel ng management. Also, kapag ito yung sinabi mo, yung honesty in telling the truth, di ba? Kung saan ka talaga pupunta. And third, siguro sir, yung unang na-mention ni Sir RSL na take it by heart, yung mga ethics or yung policies ng Kasi kung part na yun ng system mo, there's no other way na bakit ka mag-violate, diba?
Yeah.
As long as yun nga, in the same manner, you were able to relate to the management the situations you got hooked on, di ba? Tapos, that depends upon the management, how will they decide on that matter? Kung ganun. And pag sinabi ng
Let them
management
decide,
ganito,
yes.
pag sabi ganito, okay, fine. Pwede. Pero sabi niya, you do your job. Well, ganun talaga. You have to you do your job first because you're paid for that matter.
Proper communication is the key po talaga.
That's true.
Yes. So for our last question, what advice can you give to aspiring journalists, advertisers, PR officers, bloggers, or disc jockeys like you on how to avoid these violations of the code of ethics? Ano po bang pwede niyong masabi sa kanila?
Give emphasis on, syempre, follow the rules and regulations of the station. And continuously learn also. Well, the tricks of the trade, sabi nga nila, because time is changing eh.
Yes.
Kailangan you have to adjust yourself to the time changing eh.
Yes.
Siyempre, nag-evolve ang technology, nag-evolve ang media entity kung ano pang dapat gawin. But you have to go with that. You have to go with the change. Yung gusto. You always equip yourself with knowledge all the time. Aside from that, the necessary infos that you need to impart the public, kailangan masabi mo yun sa kanila na they will learn a lot from you. Educate them as well. Tapos, maybe that's a good thing that you have to impart to them for any endeavor and undertaking that we go on air or what we do on air.
In addition to that, for me, I think with today's generations are very, parang cloud chasers tayo, di ba?
Yeah.
Popularity, di ba? Sometimes we tend to sacrifice what's the real, talk of the town, kumbaga ganon. Sometimes, in this age na andyan yung this misinformation, di ba? Fake news. So, dapat maging arbiter ka pa rin ng talagang real news, di ba? Newsworthy. On my part, sir, kasi sa news ako, no? So, it doesn't, kumbaga, parang nagiging primary consideration is yung maging factual, no? Not because gusto mong may marami kang clout or followers, di ba? You owe to them yung popularity mo. Pero, in exchange to that, dapat you become also responsible.
That's true.
You know?
And for that, we also have an additional questions.
Do you think today medias are weakening their public morality in the view of the presence of sex and violence in print, broadcast, and internet?
Thank you for that wonderful question.
No.
Wow.
I love it. Yes, okay.
So today's media, so I think because when we say media, it has many forms, diba? It could be print, TV, and now with the vlogging, sir, and
Social media.
print, social media. So it also becomes a part of the so-called media entity, no? Though hindi pa ganun kaayos yung discipline, no, in terms of vlogging and all that stuff. Pero I think one of the contributing factor kaya sex and yung violence is very rampant nowadays because media tends to sugarcoat everything. No? Minsan sensationalize. Yeah. So, with the objective in mind na kasi may ratings pag sensational. Pag pinag-uusapan tayo, nag-trending tayo, that means okay. Kumbaga parang okay yung income natin. Diba? Kasi tendency, advertisers will place their product or services doon sa mismong media entity. Okay. Nagiging disadvantageous siya kapag hindi na nagiging point of consideration yung mismong after effect nung pinapakita nila or pinapalabas nila. Kasi sometimes, media tends to forget na may nakikinig o nanonood na may mga edad na ito hindi pa sila nakakaintindi kung ano yung nangyayari. Yung judgment is that not that mature pa. So, because nandun nga yung thinking na it's a form of entertainment, so sige lang. Diba? So, nawawala yung mismong identification na pag ba pinalabas natin ito, ano magiging effect. Diba?
Tsaka in relation to yung tanong kanina na is weakening. No, broadcast media it's not weakening. As a matter of fact, it's a force pa rin in the
Powerful
industry.
force.
It's a force pa rin in the industry. Now we have to do check and balances as well. Kasi with the influx and arrival of social media in our lives, that's a different story na. It's taking a pie na big pie sa totality ng media. Actually, sabi nga nila before na social media is the in thing already. Radio, TV, medyo bumababa na yan. Social media is eating the bigger pie. Parang ganon. Because you see the students nowadays, aside from the students, maybe even the parents and the lolas and the lolos already are into social media, di ba?
Personal accounts.
Di ba? That's true.
Diba?
Personal accounts with different platforms. We have Twitter, we have FB, TikTok. It's eating up the big pie already in the broadcast industry. Pero us naman, we have our own force naman for that matter to check and balance everything. Let's say may mga bagay na controversial sa social media, as nasa broadcast entity, we get to say something also to that. That we have to balance everything. That if we get to say something about that, negative man yun, or positive man yun, you have to defend it also. Or you say something different for that matter para matuto yung public.
Correct.
Pwede na.
Example.
Okay, so for our last two questions before the interview will end. So,
Do you think
It's okay.
today's media can still be trusted considering there are reports of corruption, fake news, and
Of course, yes. Definitely, as an entity in broadcast media, as we disseminate information positively, of course, we say great things to the public in relation to the news, the current issues, and the trending issues as well. Siyempre, kailangan sabihin namin na truthfully the situation in line with that. No? Kaya, as a broadcast media pa rin andyan pa rin yan talaga. Talagang, katulad binanggit ko na still of course, na kailangan pakinggan.
I think yun. We will go to basics, di ba? You're talking about ethics. So if you have that, if you have already established your ethics, I don't think there's room for corruption.
yes.
Di ba? Kasi after all, yung value formation din ng bawat isa sa atin, di ba? Namumold siya with the ethics na na-impart or binababa ng management. So if malinaw yun, I don't think may room pa, di ba, for corruption. Pero reality bites, sir. Meron at meron sa iba.
Oo, siguro meron din mga situations na gano'n na being a host or an anchor, di ba? Minsan, if you're on a commentary, di ba, meron nagpapabati sa'yo, o meron na gusto nagpapabango sa'yo, babanguhin mo naman ako, and who knows, if that pagpapabango,
There's an exchange.
di ba? There's a certain corruption that maybe you're talking about.
Yes.
Yun. Meron siguro in one way or the other. Pero not us, of course.
Yes.
Pero on that level, meron ganun siguro in the situation.
Kaya pala, sabi po nila minsan, delikado po yung lives ng mga nasa media. Lalo na po yung mga exposed po. Kasi may mga ganun po na gusto mo pabango.
Especially sa mga public servants, ang
Opo.
pinag-uusapan.
Yes.
Tapos, meron kang magiging, siyempre, a media personnel, marami kang magiging kaibigan dyan
Yes.
Marami rin hingin sa pabor.
Yes.
Di ba?
Correct.
May mga ganun sitwasyon. And that exchange of favor, siyempre, baka quote-unquote, pare ako nang bahala sa'yo, may mga ganun situations.
Yes.
Certain things like that, di ba?
Siguro corruption will parang magkakaroon ng leeway for corruption if and when yung mismong integrity ng tao, di ba? News personality or anchor, komentarista, ibababa niya yung integrity or credibility niya, ready to sacrifice in exchange for that particular favor. Di ba?
Yes.
That's where corruption comes in.
Correct.
Yes.
Those are the things that we have, views also that we have to take into consideration.
And for our last but not the least question,
Yes.
are the media restricted by too many laws, even if there are some laws that strengthen the media's role of providing information, interpretation, entertainment, and advertising?
The laws are there, no, to support and give discipline to the deliverer, for instance, of news, program format, and everything. So I don't think media is restricted entirely, diba? With the laws. Like for instance, yung data privacy, diba? It's actually imposing discipline na because it's a data, it's a personal data. You cannot just ang tawag doon, sir, parang irresponsibly process yung data because it's your information, diba? Personal information, unless you give your permission, no, to access your personal data.
Actually, there are certain limitations also. Diba? Hindi lang basta-basta you get to talk to a certain person for an interview. Tapos sa interview mo, because as media personalities, we are always inquisitive. We get to question a lot. Diba? We get to probe. We get to investigate. Yung ganun Tapos, pero there are certain check and balance pa rin doon sa sitwasyon na. And we still have our limitation for that matter. Na we don't have to go beyond. Babalik na naman tayo doon sa ethics. To the bylaws and regulations of the station.
Correct. Yes. So it's not only enough na mag-expose ka or you give your exclusive interviews, you also have to take into consideration the limits and bounds of the interview, news delivery, or in that case, mga commentary.
Baka naman sa interview mo, sa katanong mo, meron yung personal life nung medyo nakakalkal mo na you are unaware of.
Unaware of.
Diba? May mga ganon. That's, yung husay din nung nag-interview for that matter will sink in. Kaya we have to be cautious din as well. Very, very much cautious for that. As a media entity. And of course, as media personalities.
Because media is the fourth estate, diba?
Yes, media is the fourth estate.
So we should be responsible in our duties and responsibilities.
Yeah.
So that will be all, Ma'am and Sir, for our questions. So thank you so much for sharing your knowledge regarding the ethical standards in the field of media. Super makaka-help po siya sa amin and sa mga makakapanood nito para po mas mapa-improve pa po yung knowledge po nila, lalo na po yung mga nai-inspire po na maging kagaya niyo po. So ayun lang po.
Yeah, we are hoping din you guys were able to learn, were able to get something from us positively in relation to this interview and of help sa inyo para sa inyong mga studies, para sa inyong pang mga future endeavors and other things.
After all, who knows? Kayo na yung next generation na susunod sa amin, diba? So might as well, we pass on the crown.
By the way, my program, so my FB account, so may gano'n. Siyempre, may program nga pala, of course, here on DWWW Station, of course, Awit ng Pag-ibig, Monday to Friday, 7 in the evening till 9 in the evening. Yun po, mapapakinggan po ninyo si Raymond Stone Langit po doon. Yun po yung oras ko sa radio. Ito po. And also my socials.
Yes.
FB, okay? Raymond Stone. Check me out on Raymond Stone. You can message me there. Also, check on my Twitter. Wala lang. Yun, on Facebook lang po. Yan. Raymond Stone, and you can message me there, and we'll see. Your shoutouts and your greetings.
Yes.
So, again, thank you po, ma'am and sir, for sa pagtanggap po ng aming anyaya po
No
sa interview.
problem. No problem.
Yes, no problem.
Thank you for your time po.
Okay, thank you
We
also.
enjoy the interview.
Yeah, likewise.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I am Honey, and this is my partner,
Louie.
together with Ma'am Jackie Rubio,
I'm a former Tamaraw. Tamaraw pala. Hindi pala
Yes,
former.
po.
Tama.
and Sir
Raymond
Raymond
Stone.
Stone Langit
Yeah.
from DWWW Station, your ultimate music radio. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye!
Ayos,
Oh
ha?
my God!